Hey guys, it's Kevin again. It's going to be another classic movie review for you guys. And this movie that I'm going to be reviewing is the 1993 action thriller classic, The Fugitive. And yes, I did get this on Blu-ray. This is a movie that I really wanted to see, and I figured I'd get it on Blu-ray because I couldn't watch it any other way, and I had to get it on Blu-ray so I could finally watch it. And this is a movie that I've really always been interested in. I've always really wanted to see it. Ever since I've heard about it, I've always wanted to see it, and finally I checked it out. And overall, how was The Fugitive? The Fugitive was a great movie. Like, I was surprised with how much I love this movie. I thought this was an amazing movie, and it was awesome. Really, it was. I don't really know how to describe it. Now, this is actually based off of a 1960s television series of the same name. I don't know if this is the same story as that, if they changed things. I don't really know much about it. But I do know that most people say that this is probably the best movie that is based off a television series, because most movies that are based off a television series completely bomb, they completely suck, and they're just horrible. That's just how they are. This movie, on the other hand, is fantastic, and I really loved The Fugitive. I thought it was a great movie. But let's get to the plot of The Fugitive. The plot right away is something that I think is awesome at this movie. Because basically we have this man, Dr. Richard Kimball. His wife was just recently murdered by this one-armed man. We don't really know who he is, but all we know is that there was this one-armed man that she was attacked by, and she was murdered. And he has actually been convicted for this murder of his wife because they have no other claims, and there's nothing he can say to really say that he didn't do it. So he basically is sentenced to death row. He goes onto a bus, and pretty much everyone tries to escape, and everyone pretty much dies on this crash, and he actually escapes from custody, and he's declared a fugitive. He's now on the run, and in pursuit of him are these U.S. Marshals led by Deputy Samuel Gerard. They basically are going to find him, they're going to bring him to justice, and basically he has to escape them, while he is going to go find his wife's killer, show that he is innocent, and bring him to justice, and basically get away from them, and basically make sure that he can fulfill his mission. That basically is the plot of The Fugitive. And the plot, I think, is one of the most awesome things about the movie. But that's only one of the things I absolutely love about this movie. Honestly, it's one of the few things I love. Um, Let's get first to the acting in this movie, because the acting is awesome. I absolutely love the acting here. Harrison Ford as Dr. Richard Kimball is obviously awesome. Here's the thing with Harrison Ford, though. I haven't really seen many of his big action, blockbusters, those movies he's really known for. I've only really seen Blade Runner, which you guys can see my review. I didn't really like it, but that's because I didn't watch the final cut, which is the one I'm supposed to watch. This movie, I thought he was fucking awesome in it, honestly. This is by far one of the, I can't say it is his best because I haven't seen Indiana Jones, but he was awesome in this movie. I loved how much of a badass he really was in this movie. Something about his character that I love is that this is a man that's constantly on the run. Throughout the most of the movie, he's on the run, and he's doing whatever he can to get away from the police, going so far as to shave his beard, change his name, just, do whatever the hell he can to protect his identity and not get caught by the U.S. Marshals. That's what he wants to do. He doesn't want to get caught by them, and I think he did a fantastic job portraying that, and really kept you on the edge of your seat. Honestly, he did a fantastic job with that, and I thought he was fantastic. He also played, a man that you really rooted for as well. You really want things to go right for him. You don't want him to be convicted, and you want him to be able to find his wife's killer so he can fulfill that mission. I thought he did a fantastic job with that. Tommy Lee Jones as Deputy U.S. Marshal Samuel Gerard. He actually won a Academy Award for it, and it's understandable why. He is fantastic in this movie. Something I love about his character is that he's just doing his job. He's not against Dr. Richard Kimball. He just knows the accusations that he's been accused of and knows what people have said. He pretty much figures that he's the fugitive, and he basically is going to go after him, and I think he did a great job with that. I wouldn't really say he's the villain in the movie, because the villain in the movie is the one-armed man, but he did a fantastic job going after him, and his plot, him going after him is just as interesting as seeing Richard on the run. He did a fantastic job with that. I mean, Tommy Lee Jones has some amazing scenes. No matter what, he wants to find him and arrest him, just like no matter what Richard wants to find his wife's killer, no matter what, he wants to bring Richard Kimball to justice. And there's a scene where, he's like, where everyone wants to give up, but he's like, no, we're going to find him, I'm going to fulfill my mission, and I thought he did a fantastic job with that. I really loved about his character. Celia Ward as Helen Kimball was great. His wife in the flashbacks we see, she does a great job. Joe Pantoliano, I thought was really funny at times as Cosmo. He provides some really good comedic humor. Andreas Catalusis was great, but I don't really want to reveal anything about his character because it's actually a huge spoiler. And also Jeroni and Krabi as Charles was also fantastic. I thought they both were great in the movie, but I don't want to reveal about their characters because it's actually a major spoiler. But everyone was fantastic in this movie. I thought all the acting was spot on, and they all did a great job. The best thing about this movie, though, by far, is the directing by Andrew Davis. I think had the directing not been as good, the movie would not have been as good. I mean, anything, everything's great in this movie, but the directing definitely, I think, is the best part of this movie because this movie is a non-stop thrill ride. Like, right when you get into it, the movie gets right into it with what he's doing. He's in that courtroom, he's being interrogated, then he goes, and, he's in this room, he's being interrogated, then he's in the courtroom, and then before you know it, he's on the run, and it takes a very short amount of time for that to happen. I think they did a great job with that, getting you right into the action, and it really is interesting the entire time. I think he really did a great job with, amping up that tension. The movie gets more and more intense as it goes on. I think that was awesome the way he did that, especially the way he directed the chase scenes. Oh my god, they are edge of your seat, and they're basically what you want in a movie like this. Honestly, it did a fantastic job with that, and I couldn't really have asked for anything more. I think Andrew Davis did the best job with that. The screenplay as well is great to this movie. I mean, there's so many twists and turns this movie takes, and I thought they were so good as well. But the dialogue is so, like, intriguing, definitely. Everything's interesting. I mean, something I love about the movie is that even though you know that Richard Kimball didn't do anything wrong, you can't help but understand why they think he did it because all the accusations they have against him and everything they're saying about him, they have good points. Like, there's this 911 call that his wife did, and she's like saying his name, and that pretty much they think pretty much that he went crazy and tried to kill her and everything. And honestly, that does make sense, and I like the way they did that. They don't sound stupid either. I think they did a really great job with the screenplay with making us making us understand why they think he did what he did, and they did a great job with that. And I thought honestly the screenplay was awesome. This movie it really was fantastic and went in so many different directions, and I loved it. My only complaint is I did feel in the second half the movie did start to drag on a little bit. There's one part where he is this doctor, and I did feel it started to drag on, but I thought for the most part the movie was really interesting. It really held my interest the whole time, pretty much. Cinematography was gorgeous. This movie, especially the chase scenes, they're beautifully done, and the movie looks great. And I thought the cinematography really was fantastic. The score to this movie is awesome. I think James Newton Howard did a fantastic job scoring this movie. It really it adds to the tension. Really, it has the tension that the movie needs. It has the action that the movie needs. I think the score really does add to that. I absolutely love about the score. I mean, honestly, you need that score in a movie like this, and I think they did a great job with that. The editing as well is fantastic. The movie was really interesting the whole time. Even though scenes that dragged on, I still was interested in the movie. The movie really flew by as well. Like, I was surprised when the movie was done. Really, the movie is 2 hours and 10 minutes, and you never feel like it is that long. In fact, the first 20 minutes I thought was like 5 minutes. Like, that's how fast this movie went for me. I was into it the whole time, and I love that. I think the editing really was perfect. And this movie did get quite a few accolades, definitely. The movie got quite a few accolades. It got a lot at the Academy Awards, actually. Um, Tommy Lee Jones won for Best Supporting Actor, which he totally deserved. It was nominated for Best Picture. I mean, it really deserves all the nominations it got. It also got nominated for Best Sound, which it totally does deserve as well. I mean, the sound is so loud to this movie. This is one of those movies where you want to turn up your volume because the movie's really loud. I think they did a great job with that as well, definitely. All the awards it got, it really did deserve. And now we're getting into spoilers for The Fugitive because I really want to talk about the twist of this movie because it's awesome. If you guys have not seen The Fugitive, please watch it. It's an awesome movie. I think it's a movie that I'm not going to say it's underrated, but like not enough people give it credit for what it is. And I think it's a fantastic movie. If you guys want my grade, I would give it a 4.5 out of 5 or an A. I don't think it's a masterpiece. I kept going back and forth throughout the movie thinking, is this a masterpiece or not? But at the end of the day, it's just a fantastic thriller. That's really what it is. I don't think it's one of the best thrillers of all time or anything, but it just is an awesome action thriller. That's really what it is. And it is a lot more than that as well, but I think they did it. But really, I really recommend you guys check it out. It really is awesome. So, of course, we do find out that basically the man that killed the one-armed man was Frederick Sykes. And, of course, after we find this out, the one thing I couldn't wait for was when are these two going to meet, and when's that, whole confrontation going to, When's that whole showdown gonna happen? And when they finally met at that subway, I mean, I knew a fight was gonna happen, and it was fucking awesome. You know, when he basically handcuffed him and did whatever he did to prove to them that he was not, you know, the suspect. I think he did, you know, that he was not the one that killed his wife. I think he did a fantastic job with that. He just got really quick, and honestly, that is when, I mean, that's why Harrison Ford is the badass he is, because he can do awesome action scenes like that, and that really was awesome. He did a great job with that. And then, of course, we find out, though, that Charles Nichols was actually the drugs presentation, basically. He was working with, you know, he basically they couldn't let him live because he basically just went crazy and everything, and they could no longer let him live. You know, he was going too far with, Gerard, and he basically had to attack him, and basically he had to get arrested. I understand why he did what he did. He was trying to protect, you know, he was trying to protect Richard as best as he could, but he pretty much had to be, convicted after what he did, because if you shoot a police officer, you basically have to get arrested and you're going to be sentenced to death. Like, that's, what do you think's going to happen? Like, you're going to be sentenced to death if you shoot a police officer. But I really love the way the movie ended with basically Gerard seeing that Richard didn't do any of this, and, you know, basically he drove him home, and the connection that they had, I mean, it went from hate to, you know what, maybe I can trust you after all. I thought they really ended the movie perfectly. I thought that honestly was the perfect way to end it. You know, Richard got what he wanted, Gerard got what he wanted, and I love the way the movie ended with Gerard being like, okay, now I can finally sit down. I thought that was definitely really good. I can finally relax, because, you know, he really went through a lot during the movie. I thought that was great, the way they handled that. Really, that was the perfect way in the movie, and I couldn't have asked for a better ending. Really, I couldn't. So overall, guys, The Fugitive is a great movie. It is on the edge of your seat, thriller, fantastic stuff. If you really want a movie that puts you on the edge of your seat. Also, it's a movie where definitely it's a popcorn movie. Like, you want to be having popcorn or something watching this movie. It's also a movie I think you should watch with, like, friends or something. Watch a bunch of your friends. You'll love it. You'll be on the edge of your seat and everything. I think it's a fantastic movie for that. And it's a great thriller, definitely. It actually made a 2000 TV series, and the only reason I know is because it's a bonus feature on this Blu-ray. But I don't think that held up very well at all. But this is a fantastic movie. Please check out The Fugitive. It's a great movie, and it's a movie that I definitely recommend you see, especially if you're a fan of Harrison Ford, or if you're a fan of thrillers in general. This is definitely a movie you don't want to miss. So that's my review. That's basically my review of The Fugitive. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Let me know what you guys saw of this movie if you have seen it. And I will see you guys in my next video, which will be my review for another classic movie review, and I will see you guys for that. Okay, bye.